how would I prep silk fabric if I wanted to use it to make the freestanding ornaments? Would I use the same stabilizer you recommend? So anytime I use silk, if I'm making it using it for a quilt project, the very first thing that I will do to make it so much easier to handle is put a lightweight fusible interfacing on the back of it. So Pellon Shape Flex works really well. Pellon, the regular Pellon lightweight, I don't remember the number on it, works really well. We used to use a lot of a product from Jenny Haskins. I think it was called Sheer Magic. And I haven't honestly seen it for a long time. But the key is by putting the fusible interfacing on the back of it, it will prevent a lot of the fraying that typically happens, and it will give it a little bit more substance. Silk tends to be quite slippery to handle, which is great if you're making clothing out of it, but when you're making a quilt out of it, you don't necessarily want it to be so slippery. And the fusible interfacing, not to be confused with fusible webbing or stabilizer, but the fusible interfacing will make it a lot easier to manage. So I typically put that on the back. Silk is usually reversible. It's not really got a right side and a wrong side. So put it on one side, let's say, rather than the back, and that will make the cutting a lot easier. It should go through your cutting machine beautifully.
Okay.
And really, once you got the fusible interfacing on the back of it, there's really not a lot else that you need to do. Just treat it like you would any cotton fabric.
Okay.
With the exception of don't steam it and don't spray it with any water, because it will more than likely what's the word?
Stain?
It'll kind of get stained.
Okay.
So typically we're don't spray it.
Yeah.
And if you do buy silk and wash it, be aware that it is going to shrink.
Okay.
Probably quite a bit.
Okay.
So, but for the Christmas ornaments, I think it's going to look fabulous. It will be really nice. I'm excited to see what you come up with there.
Yeah, I'd like to give it a shot because a friend gave me some beautiful, she's a decorator and she always gives me scraps, and she gave me this beautiful good sized piece of a gold silk fabric that I was like, oh my God, I could just see your ornaments. I did play around with your ornaments, and I did a number of them. And I'm really having fun. I put cotton fabric on the back, and I just to get the technique down, I used a thread. What do you call it? A multicolored thread. So I didn't do any thread changes. I just let it stitch out because I was more interested in the technique, and it's lovely with the multicolored thread too. So
yes. We call it a variegated thread.
Variegated, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get some beautiful results.
Yes.
And really unique results depending on the actual thread. So
yeah. Well, thank you. That's perfect. I'm definitely going to play with that.
You are so welcome. It was so good to see you again, Polly.
Yes, you too.